Hey y'all. Okay. Sorry y'all. I am actually on my phone in my car. Usually I don't do any of this on my phone, so I hope I get everything right. Um, but anyways, I wanted to come to y'all for a minute while I'm alone. Um, 'cause my two oldest kids are at the house, and I don't want them to hear this. But anyways, I wanted to speak with y'all a little bit about Rannita Williams. I know a lot of y'all have heard about what happened to her, and I'm sure that there's a lot that haven't. Okay, but the video that I'm doing right now is basically to bring awareness, um, and trying to, open people up and let them know that, hey, if you're going through this situation, you're not alone. There's plenty of other people who have been in domestically violent situations or relationships. Okay, sorry, I just had to pull over. Okay, the ones of you that are not familiar with this, I'm going to read the article, but I want y'all to hang tight, okay, because I'm going to let y'all know a little bit about what I've been through. And I've been very compelled to get on here for the last few days, but I've been so busy trying to get things together for my daughter's graduations. She's graduating from college and from high school within a couple weeks. So, well, a few weeks, I guess, like the next month. Okay. So, anyways, I'm going to read y'all this short article real quick just to get everyone up to date on what happened. And then I'm going to let y'all know a little bit about my story. Okay, so it says, you want to be famous. Mom streams own murder on Facebook Live. And this is the beautiful Rannita Williams. A Louisiana mom made a desperate plea on Facebook Live before she was allegedly killed by her ex-boyfriend, according to police. Rannita Williams, 27, live-streamed herself Thursday, begging ex-boyfriend Jonathan Robinson to stop threatening her at her Shreveport home where he was holding her hostage, the Shreveport Times reported. Stop, Jonathan, the mom of three said in the video. Stop, Jonathan. In the footage, the 36-year-old ex reportedly said he doesn't give a F about police as he paced behind her. You want to be famous? I'm going to make you famous, he allegedly said. Everybody want to be famous. Let's be famous today. Moments later, gunfire was heard and the phone dropped to the ground, according to the newspaper. Now, bitch, game over, Robinson reportedly said while standing over the camera. Game over. Authorities responded to a report of gunshots around 11 a.m. Thursday at the home. Upon arriving, Robinson reportedly fired at the officers before he was arrested. Williams was found inside the home and rushed to the hospital, where she was declared dead upon arrival. Robinson was booked at Caddo Correctional Center on charges of murder, being a felon in possession of a firearm, simple criminal damage to property, and attempted murder. Sorry, y'all, it's very hard for me to read this because it hurts. It brings back a lot of memories that I have chosen to push out of my mind, but they're still there. Okay, her ex-boyfriend, he fired 6 gunshots. All right, and it was also let known that he did have a very violent criminal history. Okay, he's had multiple robberies, armed robberies, shot people. He abused his ex-girlfriend. I think he strangled her or choked her with his hands, and or maybe it was her. I don't know, but he did something to Rannita also previous to this happening. So, and those were just reported incidents. So, who knows the things that went down that wasn't reported. Okay, now a little bit about what I've been through and the reason why it bothers me so bad to read this is when I was also 27 and I was also a mother of 3 children. Okay, because this lady was 27 with 3 kids. I was the same age with 3 children. I had met a man who, at the time, seemed like the most wonderful person I could ever meet. You know, he was like a dream come true. He was just wonderful in all aspects. My children loved him. He loved my kids, and me and him were, what I thought madly in love with each other. Everything was wonderful for the first year, maybe a little over a year. We didn't have no arguments. Everything was just as smooth as it could be. Everything was just great. And I just knew at that time that we were going to be together forever. Well, then one day, before that day, okay, I started to see like little, tiny little things that now I know were signs for me that I should have paid attention to. Like, it was small little signs, things that, a lot of people might overlook. His attitude, demeanor, everything just started changing a little bit here and there, and just, I don't know, I just saw when he would get upset or angry, I started seeing, sort of a different side, but it wasn't anything violent or anything like that. It was just a little bit of anger. And, so anyways, I just basically brushed it off like, really anyone would, because I didn't see any violence or anything. I just brushed it off like, he, had a bad day or he's going through a lot right now or whatever, just basically tying it into whatever the current situations were. Well, then one day, out of nowhere, he just kind of snapped, I don't know, we got into an argument. It was a small argument. Like, none of our arguments were ever over anything that we should have even been arguing about. It was over stupid, small little things. But on this particular day, he grabbed me and, was pushing me around and stuff. And at that point is when I should have left, okay? But like most women who are in situations like that, you don't leave. Because what does the man do? Oh, baby, oh, I'm so sorry. Apologetic, crying, or whatever the case is. They're so hurt that they've hurt you or hurt your feelings or whatever. And, excuse me. So anyways, I stayed, okay? Because my feelings were hurt more than anything, but I stayed. So, as time went on, it started getting worse and worse. And then my love started turning to fear. And I tried to leave, and every time I would try to leave, it would make it worse. So then I felt like I had no option but to stay. So then, I had tried to call the police, y'all. Like, I had called the police on this man multiple times. Not one time did they ever arrest him for domestic violence. And I'm talking about situations where they even had pictures of me, pictures of my face, or things that he had done to me, and they never arrested him, ever. So when the police don't arrest the person that you need to get away from, what else do you do? Who else do you run to? There's nothing you can do. And mind you, at this time, well, okay, I was living in Daytona Beach at the time. I didn't have any family around me at all. No family, no, no, nothing. Even my friends, I couldn't even run to my friends because when it came to my friends, I couldn't talk to them about this particular situation because, like most controlling men do, they take control of the situations. Okay? No one really believed that it was to the extent that it was. This man had put a facade over everybody. He thought that everyone thought that he was, so nice and calm and quiet and respectful, and that was so far from the truth. So he never showed that terrible side to anyone but me. And and I mean, let me tell you, people that go through domestic situations like that, judgmental people that don't understand, love to call someone dumb for saying, or weak, or whatever. Look, I didn't stay with him because I loved him. I was with this man out of fear. Fear for my life and fear for my children's lives. Okay? And every single day, I would pray to God to give me a way out. In one particular incident, I had tried to press charge. Okay, I had pressed charges against him. They didn't arrest him. They didn't arrest him at all. Like, he had literally just beat the living crap out of me, choked me, damn near strangled me. Okay, this is what they were trying to charge him with, was strangulation. Attempted murder by strangulation. Okay, and this is right before I left him. They never arrested him. They didn't do anything to this man. They came to the house. They took pictures. They left. He came back, and you know what he did? This man beat the pulp out of me. He broke my nose. He almost broke my back, my spine. I couldn't walk for almost a month. Busted my whole, everything open. My face, my mouth, my nose, my eyes, everything. Okay? They never took this man to jail. They sent him a letter in the mail giving him a court date to come to court. They reduced the charges from attempted murder by strangulation to something else. I don't know, like just domestic violence or something. They gave him 6 months probation. They gave him, they did offer to relocate me, the victim's advocacy there, offered to relocate me. They told me the only way that they could help me in moving or anything of that nature to get me away was if I were to go through the process of basically like a witness protection program where I'd have to change my name, basically change me and my children's identities that we've always known our whole lives, and that we would not be able to have any contact with family, friends, or anything of that nature. And for me to rip all of that from my children, I couldn't do it. I could not take my children, I couldn't separate the two, my children from the rest of my family, So I said, you know what, I'm just going to handle this on my own. So I reached out, I got a restraining order, I got an injunction, And when I applied for the restraining order and I went to court, he didn't show up, but I went. The judge told me that this man is so dangerous, he's not going to grant a temporary restraining order or a 6-month or a 1 year. He's going to give me a lifelong restraining order against this man. Okay, so, which means for the rest of our lives, we are not allowed to have any type of contact with each other. All right, no violent contact. Okay, so anyways, let's just step back a little bit. Before it got to all of that and me leaving and stuff like that, I had gotten pregnant with my son, my youngest son, the one that y'all hear in my videos every once in a while saying, hey, y'all. Anyways, I had gotten pregnant with my baby. And, things, of course, they didn't get better. He still continued the same crap. Okay, when I moved away from him, I was finally given the chance, after praying and praying and praying every day, for God to just open my eyes and just show me the light and give me a way to escape this man. Because, he literally had me at one point just under his complete control. I was scared. I was very fearful. I was so afraid. I felt like I was nothing, like he used to tell me all the time. I felt like I couldn't do anything. This man had me under his complete control. And at that time, I wasn't working. And I've always been a very independent person. For the first time in my life, since I was 16 years old, I didn't have a job. I was, basically depending on someone else. And, in all reality, I didn't like it. Anyways, so I had started a business at that time. I had started my own business. I started socking away money. And the first chance I got out of there. I left. I made him think that he was coming with me. He was so sure that he was going to be moving wherever I went so he could keep his full control. I left, and I didn't come back for him. I didn't tell him where I lived. I didn't tell him any of that. Well, it was just a matter of time. He found out where I was. I woke up one morning to a text on my phone reminding me that I was going to die because he was going to be the one to kill me. He told me, don't ever forget that when you die, it will be by my hands, and I will leave you lying in cold blood. That message immediately made me start to tremble. I was so scared. I didn't know if he was in my house. I didn't know if he was outside waiting on me. I was watching my back every second and every step. I called the police. They came over for the first time, and that was the only time did he ever go to jail for any of this. They arrested him immediately. He was in jail for 6 months. They told him if it ever happened again, he'd be in there for a matter of years. So anyways, like I said, we have a restraining order, okay, that cites now no violent contact because we have a child together. And, I've never once kept my child from him because my little boy loves his father. He loves his father to the moon and back. And he also loves his son very, very much. As far as I was concerned, he was a wonderful father. So, anyways, I've had someone, step in the middle and mediate, and basically, with the exchange of our child and stuff of that nature. Well, last weekend, my little boy comes home and tells me that he saw his dad beating up his girlfriend. So, wow. Okay, now he's been with this girl for, a couple years. So I didn't interrogate I didn't do any type of like harsh interrogation. Just roundabout, things. Asked him a couple questions. My son told me, everything that happened. So now my son is no longer allowed to go over there. Okay, because my son, who never saw anything like that happen, has now witnessed that. And I will not allow my child to be in an abusive environment like that. It took me years to get my other children back on the right track after we left him. It was so hard because my children were very affected by it. My oldest son was angry. He was getting angry. My oldest daughter, she had a lot of anger issues also. And then I also have a child who is autistic. So, by being around all of that, it has affected everyone in my house. Okay, so I mean, it did. It took me years to get everyone, them and myself, back on, basically back to reality, back to, life, and moving forward and getting past that. So anyways, my son is no longer now allowed to go over to his dad's house. So I pulled up I pulled up my kid's father's stuff online, because here you can go to the courthouse website and you can literally see every case that they've ever had, that anybody has ever had with the court system. You can see what's happened in the case. You can see every single thing, every single piece of information. All right, unless it's like a juvenile or something like that. Other than that, you see every single bit of information, papers filed, what someone said, who said this and who said that, and whatever happened in the case. See it all. I pulled up his name, and I wish I had done it a while ago, because this man has not only abused me and now his new girlfriend, he has beat up every single girl that he's been with since me. One of the young women, he literally drugged down a street, yanked her out the car, and dragged her down the road. And this is what I read in the police report. Okay, he has another charge that he just, I don't know what happened with that, but it's closed. Just got a charge for stalking. So it's like, what, like, really, like, what are you doing with your life? I don't think that that's a positive thing positive person for my son to be around. But the thing is, okay, after he found out where I had moved to and sent me that threatening text, right? Like right after that, I moved, and I don't, I don't live in Daytona anymore. I don't live around that area or any of that. I live farther away. Well, anyways, he does not know where I live at the time. I've been here now for 6 years. He does not know my location. He does not know my address. He doesn't know anything about where I live. Okay, and the thing is, I want to let all women know that if you see those first signs, pay attention to that. Because, it's one thing, of course, people are going to have arguments. People are going to disagree on things. But there's a right way and a wrong way to do everything. And if anyone ever does anything or talks to you or looks at you in a way, to where you're worthless or makes you feel any less than what you are, they're not worth being with you. Because everyone has worth. Everyone has a life to live and deserves to live and deserves a chance at life. And, very easily, my life could have been taken, along with, a lot of other women that are in these situations. Okay, for instance, the reason this story, like I said, she was 27 with 3 children, same as myself. Okay, but there was a time, this is right towards the end of, right before I left him, same thing, he had busted my head open, and I had 7 staples in my head. Well, then, we had got in an argument, and he literally sat me down in a chair in my kitchen, okay, made me sit in the chair in the kitchen, and just kept yelling at me and telling me that I was nothing and how worthless I am and this and that and that, and, just basically stomping me into the ground, okay? And he was like, you know what, F this. I'm going to take care of you right now. And started walking back to the bedroom to go get a gun. And I knew what he was doing. And I knew that within a matter of time, my life was going to be gone. And I was so scared because I had my front door on my left side and I had my back door to the right of me. I could have gone in either direction. But it was like, am I going to get out the door in quick enough time, before he gets back into the kitchen? Is he going to see me running out and shoot me? I didn't know what to do. I was so terrified, y'all. I can't even explain the fear that was going through me at that moment. Thank God somebody knocked on our door. When they knocked on the door, I got up, I answered the door, and it was somebody for him. I just ran out the door. That was my ticket to freedom at that point in time. And then after that is, when things started, it was like, okay, I've got to find a way out. I got to get out. And that's when I left. I finally escaped the madness. Hold on, y'all. My phone, I don't want my phone to die. Okay. So anyways, ladies, whoever is going through anything like this, any type of domestic abuse or violent situations, whether it's emotional, physical, sexual, any type of abuse, y'all, get out now. Get out while you have the chance. And don't ever feel like nobody's there for you, okay? Because I know that that's how I felt. But at the same time, my family that didn't live around me, they weren't even aware of what was going on. I didn't tell my mother, who I talked to every single day, I didn't tell my mother what was going on until after we left, after we had escaped him. Then I finally broke down and told her. But for all those years, all those bruises and the wounds and injuries I had made excuses for. And my mother knows how I am. I'm not a clumsy person. But in those 3 years, I was always falling and busting my head open. So I fell and broke my nose and, just ridiculous things that make no sense. Especially if you're not a clumsy person. Ladies, if y'all are going through anything like this, get out now. while you have the chance. Because this young woman right here, Rannita Williams, you know, she lost her life, and her children lost their mother, and her mother lost her child, and you know, if she had any siblings, they lost their sister. Y'all get out now. It's not worth staying. It's not worth staying. No love in the world is enough. There's never enough love in the world to have to put yourself through that. And if y'all have children, please get out, because those babies need to see positive things. You know, doesn't matter how old they are. They don't need to be in negative environments like that. You know, it really messes with a child. Um, you know, so I don't know, just, you know, there are so many places that you can go. It might not be it might not be so many, but there are places that you can reach out to. You know, like in my situation, like they wanted me to go and change everything about myself. You know, if you don't mind doing that, then you know, hey, it's good. Like they will literally, they'll pay for you to relocate. They find you a place, they find you a job, they give you a new name, they give you a new whole identity. You know, there's, you know, women's abuse shelters, you know, where women and children can go stay, and they also help you. You know, they take you back and forth to work. They make sure that you're never alone, you know, so you don't ever have to worry about the your ex or whoever finding you or spotting you or doing anything to you. You know, I don't know. I wish there was so much more that I could say or do for anyone that is in a situation like this. But the only real advice that I really have to give right now at the top of my head is to get out, because you never know when it's going to be your last moment, when if you might wake up the next day. You know, you never know if you're going to see another day or if you're going to live to see your children grow up. So just please escape that, because that's not how life should be. Thank you, and y'all have a wonderful day.